Well, it's good to be with you today, Grace. Can you? This is our first session, and it may feel a little formal. We're just getting to know each other. I would want you to feel as comfortable as possible. And I do have some questions that I'm interested in asking just as we begin to get to know each other. If at any time something just feels like too much or you're not interested in answering, that's okay. If there's something significant that you feel like would be good for me to know and I'm not asking, I would love to hear that as well. But as we get started, could you share a little bit about what's brought you here today?
Yeah. So, I, I live in New York City, obviously, and I'm a nurse practitioner, and I recently went through a divorce, and um, well, I went through a divorce, and then I was in another relationship that felt significant that ended, and so I'm really struggling because, you know, I live on my own. I'm not around family or anything like that. And I'm just really feeling like, really wanting to process through these relationship problems. It's hard for me not to blame myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit more about if you were to imagine what we might be able to like accomplish together in therapy, like what your vision might be for where this might take you?
Yeah, I really think that I would like to um kind of know like what is going on. Like why am I having these
Mm-hmm.
failed
Mm-hmm.
relationships? And you know, I feel like in my work, I do like I I work in an ICU and I feel like I do good work and I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to like handle things, but for some reason
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle being in a relationship. So,
Yeah. What when you look at your relationships, and we can just focus on that for a little bit, but what are some strengths you feel like you do bring to the relationships that you've had or you have currently?
I think that's hard for me because I like it's hard for me to answer because I feel like I don't in these relationships in one of them I felt like I gave everything in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like lost myself or something in
Mm-hmm.
that relationship. And then that was the marriage and then that ended.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in another relationship where I tried to stick up for myself and have good boundaries and things like that. And then that failed. And so I feel really stuck. Like, what am I supposed to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. So would you be able to speak a little bit more about like the barriers that you've experienced? You said one was kind of losing yourself, maybe in the relationship, giving a lot, holding a lot, and how else would you describe some of the barriers that you've come up against?
Yeah, I think that it's hard for me to identify because like
Yeah.
I said, in my work I feel strong. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. And so I don't understand
Mm-hmm.
why I'm failing in other areas of my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit about like your growing up? Do you have siblings? Your parents, are they around? Kind of what your relationship is like with
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, I grew up like across the country. That's why I'm alone now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have sisters and I'm the oldest.
Mm-hmm.
And um my parents are together. They've never divorced or anything. But like I don't know that they're really in love or anything like that. And um I feel like in my family like I'm the oldest and so I feel obligated to like I care for my younger siblings a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um but I don't really feel super close to them. anymore.
Yeah.
Like I recognize like I live across the country from them. And so I don't see them often. Um yeah, I don't know what to like. I just don't feel as close with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your sisters and your parents as well.
Yeah, everybody lives on the West Coast
Yeah.
and I'm on the East Coast.
Was there a time when you did feel close to them?
I think that in my life, I'm kind of questioning that
Mm-hmm.
because I'm kind of just questioning the ways that I feel like I've failed in
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm, I don't know. I've taken care, like being the oldest, I've made sure that things happen and made sure that my sisters were okay and everything. But, um, I thought that I thought that we were
Mm-hmm.
close, but I guess I'm second guessing that now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I appreciate like what you're sharing here, and that's really significant. And we'll definitely want to look more into that as time goes on. And like relationships are so significant in our lives, and so I think it's courageous to be here and to want to dive into that. I do have a few questions just relating to how you're experiencing yourself, even physically. Are you getting good sleep? Are you on any medications? And yeah, any other things coming up for you? Um, Maybe not related to the relationship issues, or maybe they are that you could share with me.
Yeah, my sleep is staggered.
Mm-hmm.
I think like that's what it's like for like a healthcare worker. Like my sleep isn't gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to identify like whether it's good sleep or not, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You do night shifts sometimes, or
Sometimes like we have to rotate.
mm-hmm.
And so I have to flip between like day shift to night shift and back again. And so my sleep patterns are just
Yeah,
they're screwed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's really hard to like to even talk about that because
yeah,
unless you've lived it, it's hard for people to really understand, you know?
yeah, yeah. And yeah, anything else health wise?
Yeah, I have been on like anti-anxiety meds
Mm-hmm.
in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently taking anything. Um, my doctor and I decided that it wasn't as effective as we had hoped, and
Mm-hmm.
so I just came off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've like been taking some breath work type classes to help mitigate anxieties. I'm not necessarily sure that it's totally dealt with at this point, but you know, the medicine didn't work, so we're trying
Okay.
something else.
Okay. Yeah. How's eating? Your appetite okay? What's
I mean, I'd say it's fine. I'd
mm-hmm.
say it's fine. I definitely like, um, I try to eat well. Sometimes I skip meals. But like I figure like that's just like part of life and part of like I said,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
working in healthcare, you just kind of skip things sometimes. And so yeah. Yeah, I think I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Food's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have friendships that are feel supportive to you, either at work, or are you part of a community outside of work?
I mean, since my last relationship ended, I have felt pretty isolated
Mm-hmm.
because that relationship is where I had a friend group here in New York. But now that that relationship's over, it's been hard because those were my friends and they were his friends, and
Mm-hmm.
like it just feels awkward if I'm gonna try to hang out with them. And so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I tend to be alone. Again, I'm tired after working. It's hard to find like the traction for those friendships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, So I guess I do feel I think I do feel pretty alone right now.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of like how you're feeling, and just wanting to make sure that you're safe, have you had any thoughts about suicide or suicidal ideations in this time?
No, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, like, have I felt like hopeless
Yes.
sometimes? But I don't think that I've really
Okay.
thought about suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. And just as we're getting to know each other, I'm curious, if you've had any issues, with different substances, in the past or currently that have felt out of something that's been hard to control or something that's been challenging for you.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, I do drink some, but not like extensively. I'll have a drink after work or, when I'm on my days off, but not, and if I like go out, but I don't think anything
Yeah.
abusive.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I feel like you've given me, just a good beginning window into, what's important to you right now and some of the things you're struggling with. Is there anything that you would like to add to what we've talked about before we, start, yeah, winding down our session?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that seems good. I think that when we're like talking, I'm thinking about the fact that I think I feel lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I had thought about that before,
Yeah.
but I feel like I am feeling lonely. So, yeah.